Nashville app.
Good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome in. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. What a day. We made it to Friday. Hope you're having a great start so far. The weekend is here. And I have done something very dumb, as Nick Frazier is here as well. I set my coffee down on the desk, but it's like, it's going to be an awkward lean when I go to get it because it's right in front of the camera, but I'm going to do it, but whatever. One time I set it on the other side of the room, and that was not good. What's up, Nick?
Hey, Chase. How we doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. I watched some very poorly played preseason football last night, so that was good. SRX wrapped up their season, so that was on. Baseball, obviously. And I just kind of took a relaxing evening to browse around. I was going to watch like some of these documentaries that I need to catch up on, but I ended up watching bad preseason football. So
I was right there with you. I had a few players in mind I wanted to watch on the Vikings. Two local products. Ty Chandler, who got a lot of touches last night.
Yep.
Former NBA guy. He actually stiff-armed me in a game in high
Did
school.
He?
So, yeah, first time I went up against Ty Chandler, I got a good old stiff arm to the face. So, appreciate that, Ty. Yeah, you know. Also, another Nashville standout, Juwan Williams, is on the defensive side of the ball for the Vikings. Had a big pass deflection last night. So, two local products that are now teammates.
Well, and there was another one. Jordan Ferguson played for the Seattle Seahawks. Of course,
MTSU
had a sack last night.
Yeah.
So, Coach Stock was talking about him the other day when we were there. Actually, Jordan was helping on the coaching staff, and that was going to be what he was going to do this year. But then he got the call from the Seahawks to come to training camp or to come for this week and ended up getting to play. And Coach Stock, of course, was like, yeah, absolutely. Go chase that opportunity, young man. And I think he made the most of it last night with the sack.
Absolutely. When I was at MTSU, I watched him play a lot. And Jordan Ferguson, you just hear his name on the broadcast every single play just about. Like, he's one of those go-getter guys that I honestly think he might make the roster.
Yeah, that would be really cool if he did. A lot to get into today. Obviously, a lot with the Titans. We'll talk to Chris Sanders, Forever Titans wide receiver, at 9:30. Joe Rexrode going to join us at 10:15 to kind of get his final thoughts before the first preseason game. But with that, let's get to the Pulse.
The Sandpit. Nashville's most trending topic. You can make some noise for that. It's the Pulse. The band. Now with Chase McCabe.
Let me talk to you. Yeah, you might go in the sandpit of doom for that, but that was pretty funny. I don't even remember what I was doing now. I was that was good. I mentioned the bad preseason football last night. The Patriots taking on the Houston Texans, what did that mean? It meant C.J. Stroud made his debut.
Early in his Patriots tenure. Now Stroud hanging in, throws it to the near side, picked up. And on the return for the Pats, sidestepping ahead is Mills, takes it back across the middle, try to turn the corner on the far side. It's still on his feet until he takes the spill at the 24.
So I love that the headline on NFL.com is Texans rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud besieged by Patriots pass rush in preseason debut. Great use of the word besieged there, but not a great debut for C.J. Stroud. It says C.J. Stroud got a Bill Belichick welcome to the NFL. I mean, look, if I'm the Texans, if I'm DeMeco Ryans, that's exactly what I want. So now you want to see how he bounces back from it. But, I don't take too much away from it. I'm not going to say, oh, no, he's going to be terrible because of one preseason game. But he played 2 series Thursday night. The Texans did win 20-9, but he was 2 of 4 for 13 yards and an interception, and he was sacked, and he had 2 scrambles for 6 yards. So not a great showing. Obviously a small sample size for C.J. Stroud, but not the debut that he was necessarily looking for. Now, of course, everybody's talking, is there concern, including ESPN's Sam Acho?
No, not at all. I mean, number one, you talked about it, Amber. It's the first live action he's gotten in his NFL career. And we can talk about the interception, 2 for 4, et cetera, but this is the point of the preseason, to get live reps where in practice it's like you throw a ball and it could have been intercepted or you may have been sacked, all these things. Now you get a chance to see it and learn from it and see the speed of the game and the change. In college, people maybe weren't making those plays. You're lazy with your eyes. And so now the interception. So my point is, it's actually a great learning experience, especially being preseason, game one, week one, first NFL experience.
That was Sam Acho on ESPN. And, yeah, I agree with him. I'm not concerned. Not yet. It's fine. And as we're going to get into a little later in the show, and I'm going to ask Chris about this, I'm going to ask Rexroad about this, expect some of the same things from the Titans' young quarterbacks, especially Will Levis playing in his first game. I mean, are we going to sit here on Monday and be going, man, Will Levis looked really, really good? Or are we going to be having the same reaction that they're having in Houston right now about C.J. Stroud? They're young quarterbacks. It's their first time playing in the NFL, even though it's the preseason. You expect mistakes. So I wouldn't freak out either. You just got to let the process play out. So that was that one last night. And also the other game, as we kind of alluded to, Seahawks defeated Minnesota 24-13 in that one. I'm curious around the league of who's going to play starters and how long they're going to play. And, Mike Vrabel has said that they've named a starter, but they won't tell us who. So, it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. But moving ahead into college football, it doesn't look like that it's going to happen right now for Stanford and Cal. Here's Adam Rittenberg from ESPN on what's going on with that.
The Big Ten could have added them, and they said no. They did that twice. And, just from a broadcasting, a branding standpoint, Cal and Stanford don't move the needle as much as the schools that have moved conferences from the Pac-12, UCLA, USC, Oregon, Washington. They're not there in the eyes of the broadcasting companies, the media companies, but they're great academic schools. They're incredible overall athletic departments, especially Stanford, but even Cal. Both of those places supply a lot of Olympians to the U.S. teams and even international teams. And so I think there's certainly some attractiveness from the president's standpoint to be affiliated with them, but it's also a logistical challenge of having to send all your teams to the Bay Area.
Yeah, that's true.
It's going to be expensive, and they don't exactly pay for themselves like some of these other additions have.
That was Adam Rittenberg. So the Stanford and Cal won't join the ACC right now. He goes on to say later that the door's not closed, but I understand the whole travel part. I mean, we've talked about student athletes tweeting of, I went to a school specifically for this reason that my family didn't have to travel around, that they could watch me play. I mean, that's all out the door now with all this realignment. But curious to see what happens there with not only Stanford and Cal, but also the ACC as a whole. As I mentioned, we're going to be talking all show long. Titans' first preseason game. They'll play the Bears tomorrow in Chicago at Soldier Field. Terrell Williams will be the acting head coach for the Titans. Mike Vrabel will, of course, be there. He'll be doing different things, talking to different position groups. I don't think he's going to be completely quiet on the headset because he still is the head coach, and he shouldn't be. He should have some say on some things. But who is going to play for the Tennessee Titans? Acting head coach Terrell Williams on the QBs.
With the quarterbacks, right? Obviously, Tannehill has to get his, Levis, Willis, etc. How are you going to go about deciding who gets to play when and how long?
So we're going to have a staff meeting as soon as we get done here and kind of go over play time and all of that. We really haven't decided. I mean, we just finished practice, so we got to come and look at the injuries and do all of that, and then we'll decide more on the play time. So, I mean, all those guys have done a good job this camp, and I've watched them closely just like I watched the offensive line. When you're watching your guys on tape, you're obviously going against an opponent, so you're able to see those guys. So we'll sit down and talk about that more tonight and then a little bit more tomorrow morning and just kind of see where we are before we get on this plane.
So that was Terrell Williams on the plan with that. Now, what's interesting to me is, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he spoke after practice. Vrabel spoke before practice with the position coaches, correct?
That is correct.
So Vrabel said before practice that they've made the decision and he's not going to tell us, and then Coach T's like, yeah, we're going to meet about it after practice, and then we'll make that decision.
Yeah, I think Paul actually said something about it. So when do you want me to call you about who's starting for quarterback? He goes, after 5 p.m. or something like that.
Right. So, I mean, they know. And William, that's the first time that Williams has had to do this. And, I think he's up there. I think he did a fine job. You could certainly tell that he was a little nervous, doing that. I mean, he had talked to the media before, but now you're being the head coach when doing that. So that leads us into who should play, who shouldn't play, who do we want to see play? And the biggest question is, should Ryan Tannehill play tomorrow for the Tennessee Titans? What do you think? 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Would you like to see 17 in for a handful of plays, couple of series? There is one radio host that thinks he should, and there might be a second one. We'll discuss that coming up next. It's Chase McCabe. Live today on a Friday from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The Electronic Express Summer Clearance event has been extended. Get instant savings in every department, including all appliances, laptops and tablets, smart home, gaming consoles, Bluetooth speakers, and more. At Electronic Express, we have up to 50% off all your home theater needs, including 4K TVs, sound bars, and more. In stock and ready to deliver. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 60 months special financing. Shop the Summer Clearance event at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis' everyday price.
That's right. The vault is open, and we're selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock-bottom prices. Now for a very limited time.
The GIA is the world standard in diamond grading, certifying accuracy and documenting quality, so you can buy with confidence.
Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event, from a half carat up to 20 carat stones.
All shapes, rounds, ovals, radiants, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts. There has never been a better time to get an extreme value price on a GIA certified diamond, perfectly set in a gorgeous engagement ring. Hurry in for best selection. It's Genesis Diamonds GIA Diamond Extravaganza.
Save an extra 20% on these rare, precious diamond rings, now for a limited time. One per customer, please.
Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aww. He just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
So you're in the middle of a kitchen update, and you can't tell if that's a faucet stem or a flange. With the Home Depot app, doing doesn't miss a beat. It'll find what you need in a snap, and it'll show you how to find it in store with a tap. Or get it delivered free. For doing that doesn't stop. Download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
Every day we are live and local.
You need to give Ryan Tannehill a 2-year extension.
There haven't been too many coaching changes for the Predators.
And your source for Nashville sports.
I think that's what the Titans need.
Players who can score.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. The suit is in the building. Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Saturday, or is that a Friday decision?
No, it's been made, yeah.
Is it going to be Malik?
That's not a decision that we're going to share right now, but we made the decision.
Mike Vrabel, yesterday, before practice, when he was with the assistant coaches, says that they have made a decision but not going to share who it is on who is going to start. Now, what I think is going to happen is I think it's Malik Willis. But honestly, I kind of agree with the next clip you're going to hear on what I actually want to see. This was Jared Stillman earlier this morning on Robbie and Rex Road with Paul Kaharski and Joe Rexroad on if Ryan Tannehill should play.
You think Ryan Tannehill should be playing this preseason?
I do. I think that with the new offense, I think as many reps as they can get, it's going to take time. And I don't think week 1 against New Orleans, like that the Titans offense is going to be quote unquote ready. Now, the good news is Derek Carr's learning a new offense too. And in week 2, Justin Herbert's learning a new offense. And I think these things take time, like Dak Prescott struggling at Cowboys camp right now because they're learning a new offense. And so I see the opportunity for Ryan Tannehill against the Bears to probably get, 12, 13 snaps, something like that. And I think that he and the offense could use the 12 or 13 snaps. I think that when it comes to the offensive line and they need the snaps, it'll be different with him making the checks at the line of scrimmage and things like that than Malik Willis. So I think, again, this offense is not in a spot where I don't think they need the extra credit or the practice. So I would give Tannehill, 13 snaps, 1 series, 2 series, whatever, that ends up being. But I would play him just because I think they need the practice.
That was Jared Stillman earlier today on Robbie and Rex Road. So I agree with Jared. If Tannehill started the game and played a series or 2, I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, I like the idea of if he did that, then put DeAndre Hopkins out there for those series, Treylon Burks. Now, everybody's going to come at me and say, yeah, but the offensive line, that I don't want him behind that offensive line yet. That is a fair argument. But at the same time, I think you can evaluate the offensive line and how it's going to work with him if he starts the game. Now, I mean, if the first play from scrimmage is they blow through that line and he gets sacked going up against a pretty poor defensive line, then you pull him out immediately and you throw Malik Willis in. I mean, there's no reason you can't do that, but because it's preseason. But I don't think it's the end of the world if Tannehill starts the game. Do I actually think that's going to happen? No. But that I would like to see a couple of series, because then you don't have to play him again in the preseason because he's going to get the joint practices with Minnesota and New England, and you can let the 2 young quarterbacks duke it out for, just have them split the reps the rest of the way. But I don't think it would be the end of the world if he played. What about you?
I think it would be the end of the world, man. I don't want to see a starting quarterback for a franchise that seems to have all this hype and potential for them to actually win almost 10 to 12 games this season. Why would you want to risk it in the preseason? I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, preseason's a football game, but at the same time, you're just putting in installs. You're just wanting to see what do you have. And so basically the big topic for the Titans is what do you have on the offensive line? And if you don't have anything on the offensive line and your star quarterback of the franchise ends up getting hurt and has a little bit of a twink on his ankle or something, and he's out week 1 and week 2, then you're stuck with Malik Willis. And we don't even know if he can throw the ball or not.
Sure. And look, you make a fair point, and that is the risk that you take. But, Mike Vrabel would not be the first coach in the NFL to put his starting quarterback out there for the preseason, and then, unfortunately they get hurt. Look, it's a part of it, but you have other coaches that are doing that want to see their starter get a few reps, even if it's a series or 2. Justin Fields is going to play tomorrow. He's playing for Chicago. So Chicago is playing their starting quarterback. So again, I understand the concern with the offensive line, but you could also make the argument that you could have the best offensive line in the world and the quarterback still get hit and still get hurt. And I think sometimes Vrabel is a little too careful when it comes to the preseason, especially when it comes to the quarterback.
I think the Justin Fields situation is a tad bit different from Tannehill due to the fact that Justin Fields is, what he's produced in the NFL. Last year, it was really well, but obviously Tannehill has more mileage, on his legs and arm. I think if Titans fans want to see players that need to play, it would be Treylon Burks, Kyle Phillips, those young guns that have the potential. They need to show something in the preseason so they have something to look forward to into the season. I get it. You want to see that with Tannehill as well, but I'd rather not risk it with a quarterback that has already proven what he can do in the regular season rather than two question marks that are backing him up.
Well, but my counter is it's a new offense. And so any type of live reps that Tannehill can get in the new offense, I think is going to be beneficial to him. Getting used to Tim Kelly on the headset in a game, especially on the road. I mean, there's some valuable takeaways from that. Matt on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, and feel free to weigh in. Should Ryan Tannehill play tomorrow? 615-737-1025. I absolutely do not want to see number 17 on the field tomorrow. The more live reps the offensive line can take without him back there getting beat up, the better. I think that's going to probably be the general consensus from people is no, I don't want to see him play. I want to see this offensive line play. The offensive line should play this offensive line, the 5 that we right now have penciled in as the starters, I think should play at least the first half, if not more. That I want to see them on the field. I don't know if they'll play the whole time. Obviously, Mike Vrabel has to balance getting Nicholas Petit-Frere in there to get him some reps, even though he's going to miss the first 6 games. I wouldn't hate the idea of, if you put him in at right tackle, maybe towards the end of the first half, if that's as long, or bring them out for the second half and put Petit-Frere in to get him some playing time with this unit. That's fine. We've put a poll question up on our Twitter at 1025 The Game. Should Ryan Tannehill play tomorrow versus the Bears? So vote on that, and we'll give you the poll results as we go along. But I say it wouldn't hurt if he played a series or 2. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying a quarter. I'm not saying a half. A series or 2. If he goes out there and he starts the game and he plays one series and he's no, I'm not saying Siri. I'm saying my computer thinks that's funny. If he goes out there and he plays one series and it's a nice drive and ends, even if it ends in a field goal, fine, take him out. Done. I've seen what I need to see. He's gotten a couple of reps. And I agree with you that Burke should be involved in that. I'd love to see D-Hop. Henry, you don't need Henry. That's fine. Put him with Spears, whatever. But let's see how that is all gelling. Because I'd rather not do it in game 2 or 3. I'd rather do it in game 1. So, again, I don't think that's going to happen because I think that Vrabel's going to play it safe, but also he wants to use it as time to evaluate Malik Willis and Will Levis and see where they're at in game action. In fact, he talked about that yesterday of with him getting a different perspective, not being the head coach, how he's going to be evaluating quarterbacks during the Bears game.
When you're evaluating quarterbacks on Saturday, what are some of the things you're looking for? What can you gain from watching them in a game?
Well, far more valuable. I mean, with being able to, first of all, the contact and it's live now. We try to do a great job of rushing, and our guys have worked well together to go and work and stay away from the quarterback. Well, the Bears won't be staying away from the quarterback. They'll be trying to, they're going to have to get hit. They're going to have to get knocked down. They're going to have to be able to, to operate in and out of the huddle, the efficiency, get us in a proper play, make, great decisions, accuracy with a live pass rush, the timing, all those things that we talked about last year with Malik that has improved right through our team periods. Those have to continue to improve for him. And then, Will's first exposure to the NFL.
That was Mike Vrabel on evaluating the quarterbacks. A lot of you weighing in on the 615-737-1025. Michael and Madison, it's either Tannehill gets hurt in the preseason against Chicago's B team or he gets hurt in week 1 against Cam Jordan, one of the best pass rushers in the league. This line isn't going to take a leap from B teams to Cam Jordan in a month. May as well get Tannehill some real game reps. So he's basically saying go for it. Kyle says, no reason to play Tannehill this week and risk injury. We need to play Willis and Levis as much as possible to get the best evaluation we can on those guys. Even if he plays a series, you're still going to get a really good evaluation on the two young guys. I don't see why see why that would be a big thing. Mike says, it blows my mind that the Titans have such a questionable O-line, especially considering the history and what Vrabel has said in the past. I mean, it has been, I don't know if I'm going to go that far because last year going into camp, you had Taylor Lewan that was coming in. Aaron Brewer was at left guard, but Ben Jones was still there. Who was the right guard? Nate Davis was the right guard, and then Petit Frere was the rookie. I think we felt much better about that offensive line than it turned out to be, and then they got hurt and all of those things. So I think it's a little unfair to say that it's just they're questioning it all. I mean, they had to rebuild because they cut some guys that were making a lot of money. Chip from Mount Juliet says Tannehill with starters need to play a few series in the preseason. I mean, so Chip agrees with me. I think they do. I think that it won't hurt for them to get a few reps. We will ask Chris Sanders, Forever Titans wide receiver, who will join us every Friday at 9:30. He is coming up next. It's Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Are you always on the go? We've got you covered. Download the Game Nashville app from your app store and listen to us wherever you are.
Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexroad.
It's Chase McCabe.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mace.
Dominic Cavity.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
Good station. I listen to it all the time.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
All right, let's talk Superbook sports. It is preseason, but the season is right here. And now is the time to place your bets with Superbook right here in Tennessee. Superbook is the most trusted name in Vegas, and now you can use the promo code CHASE, my name, to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they will match your first bet up to $250 simply by using the promo code CHASE. Will Tennessee win the division this year? Who is your pick for MVP, and which team will win it all in February? Don't sit on the sidelines. Win money this season with Superbook Sports. Just download the Superbook Tennessee app or visit superbook.com to place your wager today. Football, a $250 first bet bonus, and the Chase promo code will have you doing your very own touchdown dance this season with Superbook Sports. And it is all at the palm of your hand. There are preseason games today that you can wager on. The Titans are a 3.5-point dog on the road at Chicago tomorrow for their first preseason game. Just visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willie Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Hey, did you tune in late?
It's okay. It happens. You can subscribe to the Chase McCabe podcast wherever you get your podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, doesn't matter. Rate, subscribe, and review today.
Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. The suit is in the building.
3-hour lunch, 3-hour lunch, 3-hour lunch.
3 hours. Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Time see you pass outside my door. Hello, is it me you're looking for?
Ah, yes. Lionel on a Friday can only mean Chris Sanders, forever Titans wide receiver, joining us here on the program. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. You know, that just makes me feel so good every Friday to hear Lionel.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
How you doing, all right?
I am doing wonderful. I don't know if you've – I'll have to send this video to you on Instagram, but there's have you ever – do you know who Dave Grohl is from Foo Fighters? Okay, so
I'll check it out.
He's in the band Foo Fighters, and so he's sitting at a piano and he starts playing "Hello," and Lionel walks in and goes,
No way.
That's my song."
Hey, that is one of my favorite songs, man. It's just so smooth, and I mean, you want me to sing and give the fans a little taste of what I can do?
Not really.
Okay, thanks. Chase, how you doing, man? Everything going good with you?
Oh, I am fantastic. I'm ready to see some football tomorrow.
Me too.
And I'm asking the listeners this, and now I'm going to ask you.
Sure.
Should Ryan Tannehill play tomorrow for a series or two?
Absolutely. And the reason why I say absolutely is because you have there's a lot of different faces. You got DeAndre Hopkins, you got an offensive line that's revamped, you got Brunskill, you got Dillard, you got Skornowski that got drafted in the first round. So you want to build camaraderie, and the only way you build camaraderie if you're going against live bullets. And I know practice is good. I know 7-on-7 is good. I know 9-on-7 is good. All that stuff is great. But how can this offense work together when there's actually flying bullets? So I think I don't say he plays no more than 2 series. I say he plays 1 series. You know, have a long drive, like have a 10-play drive, 99 yards, and make it good, and just go get your head and eat some sunflower seeds.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I mean, I and Jared does too. Like, I think a series or two, and if on that first series you see everything you need to see out of him, you pull him out, and there's
immediately.
I mean, if he drives down the field and they come with points on the board, then you've seen everything you need to see. But
that's all.
The counter argument that I hear from people is the concern with this offensive line, this brand new offensive line, that you don't want to stand him up behind them because you don't want to risk getting hurt. I hear that, but at the same time, I feel like it helps him and it helps the offensive line for them to get a couple of live reps together.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing: what if you don't play him in the preseason? And then you actually get in the regular season. It's serious business now. You're not going against second and thirds. You're going against guys that are ferocious. So the thing about it is, he needs to go out there and just put a good drive and just let him play and get his feet wet. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have this offensive line intact, I don't care if you have DeAndre Hopkins, I don't care if you have Henry, I don't care if you have a slew of receivers. If your offensive line up front is not protecting Tannehill, it's going to be a long day. So the way you get your feet wet and the way you build camaraderie is get in the preseason. I know a lot of people don't like preseason because they're afraid he's going to get hurt. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you got to be ready when they blow that whistle, in September.
70.5% of the people right now on Twitter say no, he should not play tomorrow. So,
okay. I mean, I respect that, and I do. But here's the deal: if you look at it in camp, what area on the team that's been struggling a little bit? It's the offensive line. So instead of just sitting there and say, okay, let's just wait till the season, the same problem that happens now is going to be the same thing when the season starts. So at least you're getting some confidence. At least you're saying, you know what, we can get this on film and we can figure out the things that we need to improve on.
Chris Sanders is with us, forever Titans wide receiver, as the Titans will take on Chicago tomorrow in the Windy City. So whether he plays or not, do you want to see Treylon Burks play in this game? Because I do.
I do. I mean, I just want him to play like maybe 5 or 6 plays, and I think the first play should be a play action, throw at the ball, and let him make a play. Because we always talk about, if you look at last year when Burks came in, the one thing he struggled with was confidence. Just imagine if this cat comes in here the first game against Chicago, they're on a 20-yard line, and you throw an 80-yard bomb to Burks. You don't think that's going to knight the team? You don't think that guy's going to play with some confidence because he started out fast? Because if you look at last year, he started out so slow. He had injuries, the weight and all that stuff. This will light a fire on this guy to say, you know what, I made a big play, and it'll start for a success.
And then, with the other receivers, I don't expect D-Hop to play. Maybe he will if Tannehill does, but I don't expect it. But I want to see Colton Dowell because D-Mace and I were watching him the other day at training camp, and he was starting to impress, making some plays. Racey McMath needs to show me more. NWI needs to show me more. Chris Moore has looked good. Reggie Roberson, as you and I have talked about, has looked really good. Yeah. I'm excited about seeing those young receivers that are fighting for that fifth and sixth spot.
Yeah, the thing about it is you got to show up on film, and I'm glad that you said, Colton Dowell, he's been making plays all camp, and we talked about Reggie Roberson, a guy that consistently makes plays. TD loves him, I love him, you love him, but who's gonna set the tone in this game? Because there's a lot of receivers that we talked about. We got Kyle Phillips, we got Chris Moore, we got NWI, we got Mason Kinsey, we got Trayshawn Harrison is playing pretty well. You got a slew of receiver, but which receiver is going to thrive in chaos? That's what I want to see. I know you can make plays in 7-on-7. I know you can make them in team, but I want to see when the bullets are flying and you get press coverage and they're pressing you at the line of scrimmage, can you make the play? That's what I want to see.
What's interesting to me, Chris, is I think that there are guys in this group that obviously they're not going to make the team because of the numbers.
Yes.
But they're probably going to make somebody's team. And so the Titans are doing another team a favor by having these, all these receivers in camp that are playing so well right now.
Yeah, but and I hate to say this, I know people are going to say, what are you talking about, Chris? I think the odd man out, two of the odd men out are going to be, I think Westbrook, NWI, I think he's going to be out. I know Racey Mathis is going to be out because he's been inconsistent, but if you got Reggie Roberson is playing well or even better than NWI, why do you keep him as opposed to Reggie Roberson? So if you look at I'm going to go back to 1999. In 1999, we had a whole bunch of receivers. We had me, Derek Mason, Yancey Thigpen, Isaac Bird, a lot of great guys. So we kept 7 receivers. I don't think they have the luxury of keeping 7 receivers. So I think some of the odd man guys that are going to be out is NWI, Racey McMath, and Mason Kinsey. Those are the kind of guys that I think that might be out.
You make a great point, but here's why you kept 7 receivers. What was D-Mace so good at early in his career?
Return.
Yeah.
He's a dude, man.
Yeah. And I think there should be more of an emphasis on it. And I think they're waiting for some of these guys to show what they can do on special teams, but
True.
That to me, and Derek's talked about it. That kept him in the league his first few years, and then obviously he got to show what he could do.
Yeah, but see, Derek was so explosive, man. When you talk about a technician and run around, he was that dude, and he was tough, and he was a great, a great return specialist. I can't remember. I think it was in 1999. He led the league in all-purpose yard. That just shows you what kind of player he was. And the one thing I love about D-Mace, D-Mace at that time, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna kind of make the comparison. He was a Colton Powell. When I said a Colton Powell, he was down on the depth chart. But what Derek did is he waited his turn. He kept grinding. He kept making plays. He made some of the biggest plays, in the AFC Championship game. And that's exactly what some of these late receivers can do. They might be late on the depth chart, but if you just keep grinding, keep making plays, you can be a D-Mace and do some special things like D-Mace did.
Chris, how many tight ends would you carry right now?
I would carry maybe 3.
Okay.
And you got to keep Chig, you got to keep Wesco, and you got to keep Josh Wiley. I think you keep those guys. Because if you look at the 2 tight ends you have, the 3 tight ends you have, Josh Wiley, I know he needs to improve on blocking. I know Chig is getting better, but then you want to keep a blocking tight end, which is Trevon Wesco. You keep that guy because he can block if you go a 12 personnel. That's 1 back, 2 tights. So them other guys are more specialists catching the ball. So I would keep 3 tight ends because the thing about it is you got to make sure you put them in right position with the formations.
See, I'm kind of leaning towards 4 because they're not going to carry a fullback. And so you can have a guy that can kind of line up as that H-back hybrid role.
Yeah, but see, that's what Chig does. See, Chig kind of does that also. If you look at some in OTAs, I think it's the F position. I can't remember, but he's at that position where he roams around. He can be in the slot. He can be in the backfield. He can be a fullback. He can be all those things. So it all depends on what Tim Kelly wants to do. But at the end of the day, you got some talent at the tight end position.
I tell you a guy that I'm also excited to see. Obviously, Tajay Spears, I want to see what he can do in his first preseason game. But Jonathan Ward has really impressed me in training camp, and I think he is making quite the case to make this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think he can. I mean, the thing about it is when you have a guy like that, you want to consistently be on film. And every time we talk about practice, we talk about, guys that are making plays, his name consistently comes up. So if he keeps doing that and keeps making plays and has a great game against the Chicago Bears, don't be surprised if the cat has a chance to make the team.
As a veteran on this team, you're in that locker room. You've gone through this before. What are you saying to some of the young guys that have never suited up for an NFL game?
Just go out and play. Don't let the lights become a distraction. When I say become a distraction, is like this. I'm in the NFL. Everybody's watching. Just go out and play football. Just treat it as playing in the backyard. I'm catching the ball with my dad, or catching the ball with my friends, or doing those little things. But don't let the pressure squeeze you until you make a mistake. It's kind of like this. I like watching. My favorite show is watching Animal Channel. And in Animal Channel, they had this python that was squeezing the life out of this deer. And it didn't have any breath in it. It was kind of paralyzed. You don't want that to happen to where you let the fear squeeze it out of you. Are they watching on film? Just go out there and play football to where it got you there. So that's what I would tell these young guys. Go have fun, make a play. If you score a touchdown, do a dance in the end zone and have fun, because at the end of the day, it's just a game. So that's the kind of advice I would give those cats.
That is a great analogy. And finally, Terrell Williams is going to be the acting head coach tomorrow. Defensive line coach and assistant head coach Mike Vrabel giving him that opportunity. He talked to the media yesterday. I think this is kind of a trend-setting move, and I hope to see more of this around the NFL. But what does that mean for him? And from your point of view, to see a guy that's been a long assistant get a shot to be a head coach?
What's so cool is this is a classy act by Mike Vrabel. It's just beautiful to see, because the thing about it is we always talk about leadership. What is leadership? Leadership is making everybody great around you. Look at what he did with Mr. Williams. He said, let me step back and let you be the head coach of this team. Because the thing about it is, the reason why he's putting him in that position, because later on he's going to actually be in that position, and that's what leadership is. You're putting guys in position to excel, and I take my hat off to Mike Vrabel and his coaching staff. Outstanding job. Love these guys.
Chris, love you and love having you on every Friday at 9:30. Hey, one week away from high school football.
Man, I know, man. It's here. We had a scrimmage against Oakland yesterday. Great program. We go against Pearl Cone on Friday. They're fast, physical, and all this. But we just like Ray Charles says, we make it do what it do, baby. Let's go get it.
All right, Chris. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate you, my man. Love you, bro.
Love you too. Chris Sanders, forever Titans wide receiver, and of course, coach at Montgomery Bell Academy, joins us every Friday at 9:30 as we break down the Titans and the NFL. And speaking of C.J. Stroud, he didn't look good last night. But how concerned are we? And should we kind of apply that to a young man we're going to see tomorrow for the Titans? We'll discuss that next. 615-737-1025. And a reminder that our training camp coverage is presented by the Simmons Bank Open, Parman Energy, Cottle Vet Clinic, and the new Cumberland Development, 102.5-106.3, The Game.
Here we go, in and out of the huddle.
Training camp is underway in the Music City.
We want to try to make sure that we're developing a team.
And we have you covered.
Could Peter Skoronsky be an option at tackle?
How quickly can DeAndre Hopkins get going?
We'll be broadcasting live from training camp with the latest news and storylines from practice.
Ryan Tannehill, in the last year of a contract, it's a different team, it's a different roster.
Training camp coverage is brought to you by the Simmons Bank Open, Cottle Vet Clinic, and Parman Energy on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe here with you. PBR Stampede Days coming back to Bridgestone Arena later this month, August 18th through the 20th. You can get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com or PBR.com. Justin McBride, the head coach of the Stampede, is on the line with us. And Justin, I know it wasn't the outing you were looking for in Kansas City, but something that we've talked about for the past few weeks is just getting your team healthy. Where are you from that standpoint?
Well, we're getting there. Every day is a step in the right direction. And yes, Kansas City was not the outing we're looking for, but it is a really good chance. I'm an eternal optimist and trying to find the positive in everything. But we're getting some of our young guys that we didn't plan on being in the games right now. We're getting them some good experience, getting them some good exposure to this level of competition until we can get really get the A team back. But everybody's been getting good reports from the doctors, and so, the guy's health is trending in the right direction.
Well, and I know that one of the bright spots, you've mentioned Eternal Optimist. I'm the same way. One of the bright spots was Silvano Alves and his performance. You have a three-time PBR champion on your roster. That is certainly going to help. So what have you seen from him to this point?
Well, I've been really impressed in the fact that he knows, most of the starters are out with injury. He's really the only starter that's healthy enough to compete right now. And he hasn't given up on that. He hasn't said, I'm just riding with a bunch of young guys right now. I'm just going to mail it in till my guys get back. He's going out there, he's competing, he's trying to make the other guys better.
So now that you find yourself in the position that you're in, Nashville a few weeks away, what is the message to your team as you start to kind of hit the reset button and start to rebound?
Yep, I think it should just keep competing. Let's just worry about winning each jump. That'll turn into qualified rides. Qualified rides will turn into game wins. And for these young guys, you can't let them get too discouraged. You just got to keep working, fixing the things that go wrong, helping them learn. And then, by Nashville, not all the guys are going to be back, but some of them will be back, and that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, I know you mentioned it, one game at a time. That's how you have to look at it. But Nashville in general, how much of a spark is that going to be being at home?
I think it's going to be huge. I've said it time and time again to you on this show, is that Nashville is the best event in the league, bar none. Kansas City had a killer event last weekend. It was a great event. Their fans show up, but there's nothing like coming to Music City, man. That is riding in Bridgestone. That is the best place to ride, and the guys feel that.
Well, Justin, best of luck. We're just a few weeks away before being in Nashville, and can't wait to see all of you. Appreciate you doing this.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Justin McBride, head coach of the Nashville Stampede. Nashville Stampede Days, August 18th through the 20th. Again, get your tickets, PBR.com and Ticketmaster.com.
When looking for quality adult recreational sports in Nashville, look no further than Mid-State Sports. With over 25,000 participants, they are one of the largest sports organizations in the Southeast. Summer registration is now open for adult sports like softball, sand volleyball, soccer, flag football, kickball, and basketball. For a full list of adult sports offerings, check out midstatesports.com. It's no debate. Play Mid-State.
So, if there's brunch, why isn't there dinner?
Or dunch, for that matter.
No, we know why there's no dunch.
Why is that?
People might get confused and miss brunch.
And I never want to miss a brunch this good.
Me either. Cheers.
Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Breakfast buffet Monday through Thursday from 7 till 10:30 a.m. and lunch from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Weekend brunch Friday through Sunday from 7 a.m. till 2 p.m. featuring cast iron pancakes, made-to-order waffles, and eggs and carafes of mimosas. Treat yourself today to Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hey y'all, my name is Tiara, and a little thing that I love about the Chick-fil-A Spicy Chicken Biscuit is that it has the perfect amount of spice to jumpstart my day. Whoever thought of it, thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Robert, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A Spicy Chicken Biscuit is the biscuit. It reminds me of my grandma's homemade biscuit. It's always buttery and savory. Then you add the spices, instant classic.
Order the Spicy Chicken Biscuit on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
It is red hot in Music City on Wednesday, August 16th. My God, listen to that. AEW Dynamite and Rampage invade the Bridgestone Arena for a massive night of elite professional wrestling action in Nashville. We have got a red hot show in store for you tonight. Don't miss the AEW World Champion MJF. I'm better than you. Chris Jericho in the JAS. I am the Wizard. I am the Ocho. I am Chris Jericho. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Dr. Britt Baker. John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, Wheeler Yuta, Chris Statlander, The Acclaim. Everyone love! The Outcasts, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Ricky Starks, Adam Cole. Wardlow, Swerve, Hangman Page, Hook, Darby Allin, Sting. This is Sting! Nashville's own Jeff and Karen Jarrett, and all your favorite stars will be in action live. Well, that's huge. Don't miss AEW's only Nashville appearance this year at the Bridgestone Arena. Tickets are on sale now. Go to AEWTix.com. Card subject to change.
In any work environment, culture is the most important thing. And what makes up the culture? The people. Hey, this is General Manager Sean Ford with Cromwell Media. This month, we want to highlight 2 individuals on our team celebrating their anniversary. First, Max Hers is celebrating over 5 years with us on 102.5 The Game. And our president and owner, Bud Walters, is celebrating his 51st year with Cromwell Media. Thanks to you for the community you've built here. If you're looking for a new career, reach out to us at together@cromwellmedia.com. Love what you do, love where you work.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Bring it on, Chop. Let's go.
You're listening to Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Let me tell you a story. When you ask Coach Bill Parcells, when did he know that Phil Simms was the guy? And he talked about, not after a win, but after a 4-interception loss, that in the ensuing practice, when Phil Simms got in the huddle, the other 10 teammates believed that Phil Simms could take them where they wanted to go, which is to win a Super Bowl, which is what he ultimately did. And that's exactly what C.J. Stroud has to do. The next time he gets into a huddle, his teammates have to believe that C.J. Stroud could take them to where they want to go and that this was just a bump in the road. And C.J. Stroud has the ability and the character to do so. So he has to basically eat this experience, learn from it, and then be the hardest working guy in the building and earn the trust and confidence of his teammates and coaches.
It was Mike Tannenbaum on ESPN, former GM. C.J. Stroud, in his debut, sacked once, throws a pick, and a couple of series. Did not look very good in his debut. But he's right. It was his first preseason game, and he played like 2 series. I think there's a long way to go in the career of C.J. Stroud before we can really come to any type of conclusion. And I think that we could be saying similar things to Will Levis tomorrow. We're going to see Will Levis. We don't know when we're going to see Will Levis, but we're going to see him at some time tomorrow. And how is his debut going to be? Is it going to look good? Are we going to be gushing on Monday? Junie Riddle is going to be in for me on Monday and Tuesday. But is he going to be gushing about Will Levis and how good he looked? Or are we going to be saying, oh, no, he threw a pick. He got sacked. He didn't look very good. He didn't look confident. He looked like a rookie playing in his first game. You know, what are we going to be saying? So I kind of think the two are similar. And, yeah, there's more pressure on C.J. Stroud. He's a second overall pick. But there's just as much pressure on any rookie, especially at the quarterback position, playing in their first preseason game. This was Will Levis yesterday, and he said he's looking forward to finally being able to play in a game where he knows he's going to get hit.
Yeah. I mean, it's why taking game-like reps in practice are so important. It's tough because we aren't getting hit, but when we watch the tape, we understand the situations where, you know, in real life, those guys are going to be a little closer to you than normal. So knowing when to act appropriately or how to act appropriately. So it definitely is a little different. You can't 100% reenact what the game-like situations will be, in that we're not getting hit in practice here, but how we practice here, how we handle ourselves in game-like situations prepares us for those moments.
That was Will Levis. And, yeah, I mean, you can go and you can watch practice and you can watch some of the film and you can tell, yeah, he probably would have gotten sacked there if they could actually do that. Or, you know, that play would have died if the real pass rush had been there. So that's why the preseason is so important, especially for young players, to get in there and to get that experience and get those reps. So with C.J. Stroud, with Will Levis, and even to an extent Malik Willis, you know, you got to show some patience. Now, with Malik Willis, I want to see growth. I'm all about patience, but, I mean, we've been gushing over him for 2 weeks in training camp because he's looked like a different guy. So if he goes out there and he throws 2 picks and just looks lost, then we probably will overreact and have a problem.
Well, not even throw the ball, but, like, if he's first play, if they draw up a pass play and he ends up looking, doesn't see anything and runs, or something around that realm of possibility, I'll be upset.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see him – I want to even see him run – I don't want to see him run the ball at all. I want to see him throw the ball. If he doesn't find anything, throw it away. That's all I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see wow, that's big news coming out. Diana Rossini leaving ESPN to join The Athletic, according to Andrew Marchand. That's pretty big news. But I mean, if you have designed runs with him, fine. But I agree, because that was something Vrabel had talked about some last year, that his instincts would kick in if he didn't see the play right away and he'd just tuck it and run, and you can't do that. Like, you can't get away with that. I mean, we saw that in game action, that he's got to be able to stand in there and make a play, and the offensive line's got to give him time to do that. So I don't want to see him running around for his life. I want to see him stand in there, manipulate the pocket, and I have seen that some in practice where he's done the side step or the step forward and moved around in the pocket to give himself time to throw. That's what the great quarterbacks do, and it takes time to learn that. So I want to see that out of Malik Willis. Coming up next, what are we expecting out of Terrell Williams when it comes to big situations in the game tomorrow, how he's going to handle those, and how involved Mike Vrabel will be? We'll discuss that next. Chase McCabe in hour number 2, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hear that? That's Jeff Anderson. He's that guy in your neighborhood that's always making improvements to his house, his car, his yard. On your street, it's about keeping up with the Andersons. One thing you don't know is Jeff's tools are from Harbor Freight. Tools at great prices. That circular saw right there, you wouldn't believe the deal he got. Just think, when you're keeping up with the Andersons, you're saving money. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Trust your pets with Cottle Vet Clinic in East Nashville in the heart of Inglewood for compassionate care and your fur baby's optimal health. From vaccinations to health checkups with on-site pharmacy, teeth cleaning, grooming, and state-of-the-art surgical procedures, trust Cottle Vet, now offering boarding. Visit CottleVetClinic.com to learn more. We know you love your pet. And at Cottle Vet Clinic, pets are family.
Nashville's radio version of The Odd Couple.
You would trade for the third pick? Yeah, I don't know that I would do that.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode.
I'm here for the discussion. I'm not. It's a good one.
It's absurd. Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 9.
Win the games. When they get in the playoff, they'll have a chance to.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. All of us at 102.5 and 106.3 The Game want to recognize our active military, veterans, first responders, and educators with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glow, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Frazier with your Game Center update. Last night kicked off the first doubleheader of many in the NFL for the preseason. Former running back from Montgomery Bell Academy, Ty Chandler, had 11 rushes for 41 yards, averaging 3.7 yards per carry. Defensive side of the ball, Vanderbilt's Jawan Williams had a touchdown-saving pass deflection late in the third quarter. Yesterday on the Chase McCabe Show, Vanderbilt play-by-play Andrew Allegretta shared some thoughts about the Commodores' upcoming football season.
I recognize where the fan base is mentally, probably some trepidation going into it. It's like, a little bit of Lucy dropping the football down, and is she going to pull it away from Charlie Brown? I get that, because you've got a schedule that lines up for 6 games where if everything lines up, you could win them all.
Tune in this evening to the Nashville Sounds as they look to continue their 3-game winning streak versus the Indianapolis Indians. You can listen to the game on 94.9 The Fan. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025thegame or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road. Chase McCabe.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mays.
Stone and Company.
Nashville's best sports talk.
Crank it up.
1025 and 1063.
Rebound on the score.
Make every play perfect.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
We're going to win the game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Nashville.
The suit is in the building.
Acknowledge me.
Are you ready? Ready? This is Chase McCabe on Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase McCabe, hour number 2, 1025, 1063 The Game. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com. We'll talk to Joe Rexroad coming up in a few minutes, Robbie and Rexroad. I might ask him about his new colleague at The Athletic, Diana Rossini, reportedly leaving ESPN for The Athletic. That is big because, we know how connected she is to the Titans and the news she breaks when it comes to the Titans. And so now her and Joe Rexroad reportedly will be colleagues. That's interesting. Very interesting. So Terrell Williams is going to be the acting head coach of the Titans tomorrow. He addressed the media yesterday. I thought he did a nice job with that. So what are we expecting out of him, and is Mike Vrabel going to stay out of the way? One of the questions that Williams was asked in his press conference is how he's going to handle those big moments, whether it's throwing the challenge flag or going for it on 4th down.
Hoping for opportunities like throwing a challenge flag, like making a 4th down decision.
Hopefully the refs will make good calls and we don't have to throw a challenge flag. So, you know what? I'm just I think in coaching you just be who you are, and I'm going to coach like my personality is. I'm going to, when the situations come up, we'll be ready for it, and if I'm not, then we'll just ask questions. Like, again, we got great football coaches, and, you talk about reality shows. I tell you a great one would be if you can do one that if you can hear what's going on those dang headsets, it's real interesting, man.
Yeah, that was Terrell Williams on that. And I hope he is in those situations because that's going to help him get experience. At the same time, it's important that if he is in those situations – that he's making the right call. And if, let's say it's a 4th down and you're midfield, you know what I want to do. I want the kicker to go out there. I want the kicker to go make a kick. I need to see if the kicker can make the kick. That's what I'm concerned about right now. I don't give two you-know-whats if it's 4th and 3 from the 50 and they want to see if they can make it. Screw that. Put the kicker out there. And that is what I want to see. In fact, let's skip the second Vrabel clip. We'll go back to that. This was Vrabel on when he was asked if he was going to be quiet on the headset, and he addresses that exact situation.
Are you going to be quiet on the headset, or what's your intention?
I don't. My intention is to allow Terrell to operate and function as the head coach. Now, there's going to be things I would imagine that at some point in time, we need to have our field goal kickers kick field goals. We need that. So I'll have to, if that comes up, I'll have to or need to remind them of that. I will.
Yeah, 100%. And I got no problem with that. If he chimes in and it's like, yeah, we're going to, keep the offense out there. Hell no, put the kicker on the field. I want to see the kicker. I'm getting a call from the Netherlands.
I got that. I swear, I got that the other day. It was like
answer it?
It was like plus 316 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's calling me from the Netherlands? Interesting. Do they want to know about the kicker?
I think they do.
Maybe they're curious about the kicker.
Maybe they have a soccer player that they want to bring over to the States.
I mean, Titans could do that. I mean, right now, so it's funny. I stood and watched the kickers the other day. Now, I wasn't like Jared trying to catch kicks, but I watched the kickers the other day, and in practice, I'm okay with both of them. But that's practice. We're talking about practice, man.
Practice?
Talking about practice.
Practice?
AI. But I need to see it in the game with the pressure. In fact, what I would love to see, like if I'm drawing up a perfect scenario for Terrell Williams and for the Titans, is you're running the 2-minute drill, you got no timeouts left, and you're marching downfield, and the clock's ticking down, and you basically got to spike the ball and run the field goal team out there. I want to see how they do in those situations. Because you know what? In this division, with this schedule, I have a feeling they're going to be in those situations. And I need to see a guy with ice water in his veins go out there, put it right down Main Street, and win the football game. Even though it doesn't matter if you win the game or not. Like, if they're down 20-0, I still want to see them do that. Because I want to see how he reacts, whether it's Shudak or Wolf, how they react in those situations. My guess is Shudak gets the first half, Wolf gets the second half. And my hope is that for preseason's game 2 and 3, they kind of know what they're going to do. Like, I'd be okay if they announce Sunday or Monday that they've cut a kicker because they know. Because, I mean, how much evaluation do you really have to have? I mean, do you really need all 3 preseason games to figure the kicker out?
I don't think so. It definitely comes down to the approach of the ball, comes down to the placement, and then obviously your finish. And if you don't have the leg strength, sayonara.
Exactly. So those are the things that Terrell Williams will be faced with. Now, what's Mike Vrabel going to do? That, people are kind of asking that. I think it gives him a different perspective that he can watch the game and not have to worry about calling the game. This was Vrabel saying that he's going to have a lot to do on Saturday.
You kind of touched on it earlier in the week, but on Saturday night, will you bounce from position to position, kind of?
Sure. I'm going to be there and making sure that the things that we need to do get done, and obviously overseeing that, and just making sure that I'm where I need to be, and I don't think that'll be too hard.
That was Mike Vrabel, and and again, he can help out where he's needed. I don't think he's going to stay completely out of the way. Like, I think he's going to backseat drive some, but I think that everybody that works with him probably knows that. And listen, 100%, being honest, if I was him, I would be doing the same dang thing. I mean, it's hard. I mean, that's your baby. That's your car. Like, it's hard to let go of things, even though you're giving a guy a great opportunity. And it's an even greater opportunity because he has Vrabel. Like, he's the acting head coach, but he has the head coach that he can go like, hey, what do I do here, Mike? Like, what do you think? So I think it's going to be a really good situation, but Mike doesn't have to completely stay out of the way, and he won't. And so I understand that. But player evaluation, he can sit and watch, the quarterbacks, Tajay Spears, the other running backs, the receivers, the offensive line. He can make his notes there because he's not having to worry about thinking about each play and game planning. I don't think he really said where he was going to be. My guess is the sideline. I wouldn't be shocked if he tried went up to the booth for a little bit, but I think his place is on the sideline, and that's where he wants to be, because then he can have interaction with the players. Like if Will Levis goes out there for his first series, he can go sit down with Levis, while Williams is coaching the game, and go, all right, so what did you see? What took you through, or take me through what you saw during that sequence? He can have those kind of in-the-moment conversations, because in-the-moment coaching is very, very important. You get that at practice. You don't often get to do that as much during a game because he can't go sit with the receivers or the D-line or whatever for an extended period of time. So I think that could be big.
Yeah, I think he might split his time. I want to say first half goes into the booth. Second half probably comes down to the field. Just because once the second half kind of goes underway, those are more the guys that are on the fine line of making the roster. And that's kind of where you're going to see more of your, I guess, teaching points as a coach. I believe, when Vrabel means that he's going to be stepping away out of Terrell's, point of view, like letting Terrell take over, I truly firmly believe that he will allow him to have free range.
Yeah.
So I think giving him the whole first half would probably be where I would probably look at it. Now, I want to touch on something you mentioned before with the 2-minute drill. If they
talk to me.
Hey, talk to me. Yeah, baby. If they get into the 2-minute drill in the second half, and then Will Levis is out there, if Will Levis does a pretty darn good job at a 2-minute drill, would you be surprised if he starts the second preseason game?
I think he's going to start the second preseason game no matter what. I think they're both going to get starts. I've made the case. I think Tannehill should start tomorrow. He probably won't. I think Willis starts tomorrow. I think Levis starts the second game. And then, perhaps Tannehill starts the third game, but doubtful. And then, it's just whoever's playing better. At that point, you probably know who the backup quarterback is, and that's the guy that probably starts game 3. But okay. I think Levis would start game 2.
Okay. That clears up a lot of my questions I have in my head right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm basing this on Mike Vrabel and what I know about Mike Vrabel and what I think about this situation. That's how I'm basing it. Coming up next, Robbie and Rexroad co-host Joe Rexroad, also with The Athletic. He's headed to Chicago. I think he's at the airport right now, but we will talk to him next, get his thoughts on should Tannehill start and other things with the Titans preseason game. We'll do that here on Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every Wednesday at 8:30. Join Robbie and Rexroad for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:30 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Titans are plus 3.5 tomorrow on Superbook Sports, and football season right around the corner. Now's your time to place your preseason bets with Superbook right here in Tennessee. They are the most trusted name in Vegas, and now you can use my promo code CHASE, C-H-A-S-E, to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they'll match your first bet up to $250 simply by using the promo code CHASE. Will Tennessee win the division this year? Who is your pick for MVP? And which team will win it all in February? It is that simple. Don't sit on the sidelines. Win money this season with Superbook Sports. Just download that app or visit superbook.com to place your wagers today. It's football, a $250 first bet bonus with the Chase promo code. You will do your own touchdown dance this season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Calling all Nashville Sounds baseball fans. You know the 312 Pizza Company in Germantown is the best place to be before or after a Sounds game, but this season, it gets even better. Stop by 312 Pizza Company before or after any Nashville Sounds home game with your day of ticket and get a free old-style beer. That's right, you get a free old-style beer from 312 Pizza just for watching Sounds baseball. Only redeemable with purchase. See you at 312 Pizza Company all baseball season long. 312 Pizza Company, a proud sponsor of your Nashville Sounds.
Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis' everyday price.
That's right. The vault is open, and we're selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock bottom prices. Now for a very limited time.
The GIA is the world standard in diamond grading, certifying accuracy and documenting quality, so you can buy with confidence.
Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event, from a half carat up to 20 carat stones.
All shapes, rounds, ovals, radiants, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts. There has never been a better time to get an extreme value price on a GIA certified diamond, perfectly set in a gorgeous engagement ring. Hurry in for best selection. It's Genesis Diamonds GIA Diamond Extravaganza.
Save an extra 20% on these rare, precious diamond rings, now for a limited time. One per customer, please.
Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Hey, it's John Tesh. You want to know how to get better rates, better coverage, and better service on your home and auto insurance? Work with Xander Insurance. I know it's a big promise, but this team delivers. They've been around for almost 100 years and have earned the privilege of representing dozens of insurance companies so they can shop, compare, and find you the best options available. More options mean more savings, and in many cases, better coverage. But it doesn't stop there. Each year, they review your coverage to make sure your rates stay competitive. Nobody else does that. And when it comes to service, just check out their ratings. Xander is one of the top agencies in the industry, and they earned that spot with their commitment to making sure their clients are taken care of like family. That's what sets them apart. Go to Xander.com for quick online quotes or call 800-356-1780 for that personal touch that you've been missing.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike three.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
You're listening to Chase McCabe.
He did not want to rehearse, and he wanted to leave as soon as possible.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Oh, you didn't know? You better call somebody.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Let's talk to Joe Rexroad, one half of Robbie and Rexroad mornings 6 to 9 on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. It's been Rexy and Paulie the last couple of weeks. What's up, Joe? How are you?
Yeah, I kind of like that. Rexy and Paulie. Okay, that's pretty good. And we certainly had some pilot episodes of Stilly and Paulie that maybe blistered some eardrums, but got a lot of reaction for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was sitting there listening this morning. I'd love to know what it's like from your seat. Do you cringe? Do you kind of go, oh, where is this going? Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's entertaining.
I mean, some people who were actually watching it on the stream told me, if you have time, go back and watch because your reactions are hilarious. I mean, I think most of my reactions are just busting out laughing and not being able to contain myself, So, I mean, it does get a little chaotic in there, and it's okay, I have to stop one of them from talking here at some point, to go to break. But for the most part, high level of entertainment.
So a lot of Titans talk today, obviously, and I've been asking this question through my show. I know you guys talked about it a little bit with Stilly when he was on. I think Ryan Tannehill should play a couple series tomorrow. What do you think?
No, I don't. First of all, I don't trust the offensive line right now. I mean, I know. In fact, I think I saw something in the text line today. It was okay, well, if you're worried about that, why a month from now is going to be any different? I mean, if you don't think an offensive line can get better in a month, I mean, they better be a lot better in a month. I mean, they absolutely need to. That's why they're working every day. Right now, I don't like how it looks. I wouldn't put him back there. I just don't I mean, the only reason, I guess you could have the entire starting offense out there. If you're going to have Hopkins and Burks, okay, because you're working on timing, but that is stuff, timing and rhythm, those are reps you can work on in practice. I don't see the value for Tannehill. We know what he is. It's a new offense, but we know what Tannehill is. I mean, I wouldn't play the skill guys either because I don't see the value in having Burks or Hopkins working on their timing with Malik Willis or Will Evans. So to me, it's just about the offensive line. And those guys can work. That's a separate unit. You separate them out, their chemistry, their rhythm, all that stuff. In any sort of scenario against any opponent, I think there's value in them. And plus, think about the risk. The risk for Tannehill and a skill guy is that you are tackled to the ground in preseason games. You are tackled. In practice, you aren't. With offensive linemen, it's the same risk, basically, right? I mean, it's you could twist an ankle, you could get rolled up on. All those things can happen in practice. So all of which is to say, I think the Titans should play that first O-line, the whole first half tomorrow, and leave the skill guys out of it.
Okay, so at any point in the preseason, do you think that the starters, the skill guys, Tannehill should play, or are we going to continue status quo with Vrabel and keep him out?
Yeah, I just the work that they get to me is work that can be done effectively in joint practices and even just like working together to the side. Like, that's different to me than the work that you get in the trenches. So I think it's cool that some of these teams are like playing some of their quarterbacks and everything. I mean, that's great. It's a change. I personally would err on the side of caution with those guys because I don't think the reward of some series in a preseason game is worth the risk, because you can get a lot of that same level or even in some cases better level of work, I think, in joint practices when you go best against best for like 2 hours.
Joe Rexroad is with us from Robbie and Rexroad. So I know you're at the airport. I don't know if you've seen this news, but do you know that you potentially may have a new coworker at the Athletic?
It's so funny you just said that. Just now in one of our Slack channels, someone's like, "Oh, how about this?" I'm like, "Oh, really? Okay, well, very interesting. I guess it's a trade. TD trades me Diana Rossini. I'll give him Paul Kaharski. How about that? Well, call it even."
I think Paul's done that before, actually. But
that's
yeah,
right. That's right.
I think it's interesting that Diana Rossini could potentially be making that move. But you mentioned the offensive line with the Titans. Is your concern the whole unit? Is it one person in particular, or is it still just so much of a work in progress that you're just evaluating?
I'm sorry, you said the offensive line.
Yeah. Like, is your concern the whole unit right now, or is it one individual in particular?
Well, I mean, look, I think that Andre Dillard is the most important question, and there's a high level of concern there based on what I've seen. And people have asked, like someone on the text line today was like, "Is he better than Dennis Daly?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think he will be, but like, that bar is low." I just think right now tackle is the biggest concern. I've said this. I think Skoronski looks good. He's going to be really good. I think he's their best lineman right now. I think Aaron Brewer at center is going to be fine. I think he fits there, and I think he can be an effective center. It's still a step down from Ben Jones, but I think they're fine there. I'm not sure about Brunskill, but overall, I think that some inside run stuff and some protection stuff has looked okay with the interior, and it's the tackles that are just – and obviously Nicholas Petit-Frere will be there eventually, but the problem for the Titans is that they don't have the luxury of, like, their schedule is tougher early, So it's just figuring out tackle, and this is where I think that if it just looks rough here, I think you do have to think about Skoronski outside. And I've been a big advocate of, like, if he's an all-pro left guard, let him play left guard. Let him play, like, his best position. But I think early in the season, you may have to go ahead and think about him at one of those tackle spots to be able to get through it.
Joe Rexroad is with us. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, who's somebody that you think will play tomorrow and that you want to see some things out of?
Yeah, well, certainly the linebacker spot. I'm sure we'll see Jack Gibbons and Monty Rice. I'd like to see Aziz Al-Shair out there too, and I think he could be a guy who plays. It's going to be interesting. Like you could make a case for a lot of those starters not playing. I mean, there's no way we'll see like Simmons, Autry, Byard, Hooker, Landry. Like we don't see those guys. Like. Yeah, probably, right? You're probably I would put him after those guys, but probably we won't see Fulton. Will we see, will a Molden get a bunch of run in a game like this? I think that could be interesting. He's working at safety and slot. Will McCreary, is he going to play him? I don't know. I think it's probably the linebackers, and then after that it's sort of like evaluating the roster,
Terrell Williams addressed the media yesterday as the head coach because he will be coaching this game. Now, I thought it was kind of interesting that Mike Vrabel said starters had been decided, and then Williams is like, well, we're going to have a meeting after practice today, so which is it? But, I won't hold that against him too much. How do you think he is going to handle this, and do you think that Vrabel is going to, for the most part, stay out of the way, or is he going to insert himself a little bit more?
Well, look, I mean, I'm sure they had a meeting, but, I would be willing to bet that the basic plan for personnel has been known by the coaches for a lot of the week, right? So I think Vrabel's out of the way. I don't see, unless I guess Terrell Williams, like, by golly, Ryan, I know you were wearing a baseball hat, but can you get out there and play some QB for me? And then Vrabel might say no, But short of that, I think Vrabel will let him do what he can do. But I think the plan is already in place, right? I'm sure that they've already talked about quarterbacks here, there. Maybe it'll be a little bit of like, hey, T, whatever you think. Maybe if you want to put Willis back in for this series, you want to see this or that, go ahead. I think the plan of getting the evaluation and the general framework of what they're going to do has been laid out. So yeah, I think Vrabel will probably hang out over there and slap guys on the helmet when they come off the field and eat some popcorn.
Yeah, I could see that too. Vrabel did bring up though that if he needs to remind them, hey, I want to see the kicker on the field, that he's willing to do that. I love that he brought that up because that's honestly been the biggest thing that I've been worried about is if it's 4th down and they're midfield and it's a long kick, put the damn kicker on the field. I want to see if they can make kicks, whether it's Shudak or Wolf, whoever it is, can make a big kick in a high-pressure situation.
I agree. I think if they have like a 3rd and 3 from like the 35, or let's say 3rd and 3 from like the 32, kneel, take a knee and kick from the 35 and see if somebody can kick a 52, 53-yard field goal. I'm with you. I think the more pressure opportunities they can come up with for these kickers, and it's huge. It's huge to find out if either of these guys can be the guy because, again, it's just like with the offensive line. At some point, you have to now adjust and you have to pivot. And if they're not starting to feel really good about one of them, then you have to start looking at the veterans who are out there available in free agency.
Yeah, because my whole thing, Joe, is I would like to have the answer at kicker, in the next week or so because it's important, but I don't want to have to be worrying about that, the last week of the preseason. So I'm hoping one of these guys takes the job and we can move on.
Yeah, I would say, like, if you feel good about both and it's like a tough decision because they're both so good, then it's okay. Then you have this game, maybe the joint practices, and one more game next week, But if it's more like you're not sure because you're not sure if either of them is good enough, then I'm with you. Like, then you have to look elsewhere. So I would agree that, like, you don't want to go into, like, the last preseason game and still not know.
He is Joe Rexrode, one half of Robbie and Rexrode, or lately it's been Rexy and Paulie. Joe, safe travels to Chicago, and we will look forward to hearing you on Monday.
All right, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe Rexrode, Robbie and Rexrode morning 6 to 9 here on 102.5, 106.3. The Game, as the Titans will open the preseason tomorrow. He mentioned the offensive line. Do we think the offensive line we see on the field tomorrow will be the offensive line that's on the field against the New Orleans Saints? We'll discuss that next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Sometimes it's good to be loud.
This is the NFL.
Especially when you're Jared Stillman.
That's where we are.
He's not afraid to say what's on his mind each and every day.
That was embarrassing. I don't care if you're a rookie. That was embarrassing.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Real estate investors, get ready for an incredible opportunity. D&M Development is thrilled to announce the Phase 1 presale of 16 non-owner-occupied short-term rentals in Nashville's exclusive resort-style community, the New Cumberland. Nestled between Germantown and East Nashville, this exceptional location offers stunning views of the city and the Cumberland River. Each unit features spacious kitchens, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths, providing the ultimate luxury experience for your guests. Resort-style pools and a wide range of amenities. Don't miss out on this exclusive investment chance. Visit thenewcumberland.com for more information and secure your spot in this extraordinary community.
Hey y'all, it's Courtney with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Warmer months have you working overtime? Be sure to visit Parman Tractor and Equipment for all your New Holland tractor and bush hog needs. Swing by our store at 3570 Dickerson Pike in North Nashville or give our sales team a call. We're now offering 0% financing for 72 months on select New Holland tractors. Get the brands you trust from a local dealer like Parman, always ensuring totally outrageous customer service. Visit ParmanTractor.com for the best deals on equipment, New Holland tractor, bush hog, and more.
It is red hot in Music City.
On Wednesday, August 16th.
My God, listen to that.
AEW Dynamite and Rampage invade the Bridgestone Arena for a massive night of elite professional wrestling action in Nashville.
We have got a red hot show in store for you tonight.
Don't miss the AEW World Champion MJF.
I'm better than you.
Chris Jericho in the JAS.
I am the Wizard. I am the Ocho. I am Chris Jericho.
Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Dr. Britt Baker. John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, Wheeler Yuta, Chris Statlander, The Acclaim.
Everyone love!
The Outcasts, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Ricky Starks, Adam Cole. Wardlow, Swerve, Hangman Page, Hook, Darby Allin, Sting.
This is Sting!
Nashville's own Jeff and Karen Jarrett, and all your favorite stars will be in action live.
Well, that's you.
Don't miss AEW's only Nashville appearance this year at the Bridgestone Arena. Tickets are on sale now. Go to AEWTix.com. Card subject to change.
Hey, it's John Tesh. You know why insurance companies use all those cute and funny characters? To distract you from realizing you're only getting one option. If you want to compare prices, you're forced to visit multiple websites just to get one quote at a time. But not with Xander Insurance, because they work for you. Xander is a broker that shops dozens of top companies to find the best competitive rates for the coverage you need, and they keep reviewing your policy every year to make sure you're getting the best value. They're always available to answer questions, handle problems, and make sure that when it comes to insurance, your life is simple and hassle-free. You even have direct access to their senior management team. If your current company or agent doesn't do this much for you, let Xander Insurance help. Compare rates online at Xander.com or call 800-356-1780 for that personal touch. When Xander works for you, you're going to see the difference. Again, that's 800-356-1780, or you can visit Xander.com with no characters needed.
Hello, whoever it is going to be.
You want to weigh in on anything that we're talking about on today's show? Hit us up on our phone and text line at 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
I don't think that dooms Dillard to a bad season, but what is your overall analysis of him at this point?
Well, he started off really struggling, and it's crazy because I kind of like set him up, letting him know that, I noticed that he's strung together like 3 or 4 pretty solid practices, and that's what I've seen. Watching them over there on one-on-ones, he took his share of losses, but he got his share of wins too, and I'm looking at that like, wow, good job against the bull rush. Oh, man, good job against that outside rush. Oh, man, good job against the inside move. Oh, good job just washing him down. And those are some of the things that, I'm seeing in one-on-ones, but then it's transferring over to the team period also. I think he's improved. There's still a lot of room for improvement. But the good thing is at least it seems like he's found a comfort level. And he admitted that at least when we talked to him.
That was Teron Davenport earlier this morning on Robbie and Rex Road. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on a Friday. Titans preseason game 1 tomorrow at noon. The offensive line, do we think this is going to be the same O-line that they march out there against the Saints? I don't know. I don't even think I know the answer to that. I got to see it tomorrow. I think Dillard is, as Joe just brought up, Dillard is probably the biggest question mark. Can he hold down that position at left tackle? The left tackle and the center are the two most important positions on the offensive line. The center is the quote-unquote quarterback because obviously he's handing the ball to the quarterback, and they interact on every play. I think I like Aaron Brewer more at the center position than I do left guard because of his size. I think he'll be fine there. Ben Jones was so reliable for so long that, you're obviously going to miss that. But I think that's okay. It's just, can Dillard hold his own at left tackle? And I agree with Joe that if you feel like in the next 2 or 3 weeks that he can't, then you got to try Skoronski there. You have to. It would be coaching malpractice if you didn't.
Yeah, that's what they drafted him for.
Right.
But I did say this probably a week or so ago about, starting your left tackle, I guess, the guy you draft, Pete Skoronski, at left guard. You want to start from in to out just because it's an easier transition that way. You don't want that baptism by fire type deal. But, you mentioned Ben Jones as well, Chase. And I believe it was yesterday Derek came into the studio. We were talking about, the offensive line and potentially he said after the first game of the season, none of the contracts are really set in stone. And so bringing back Ben Jones, would that be a potential option?
I don't think so. No? I think they're worried about Ben Jones getting hurt. He had too many concussions. I know he wants to play. Like, I've heard him say that, like, he still wants to play and that he's available to play. I mean, I saw him at SEC Media Days. He's, still looks like he could play. I just think it's risky with him and his health, with concussions to play. So I don't see it. I think they'd have to be really desperate to do that. So I think I don't see it. But, I mean, I've seen crazier things happen. I mean, if they get into a point like last year, then you'll take anybody.
Right. And, with Dillard, everybody is all, hopefully he can pan out. And, I mean, this guy was a top pick in his respected draft class. Like, people need to relax a little bit. It's preseason. I do believe around game 3 of the preseason he's going to settle in. And that's just my personal opinion. There's just something about the offensive line. It's not that
who do you think is going to settle in?
Dillard. Yes, Dillard. Thank you.
Okay.
It's not that complicated to play the offensive line. Yes, it is the NFL. It's a different level, but it's all still the same thing from when you played when you were a kid. It's all the same techniques. You're still learning the same position. It's just a matter of, can you get to that spot or not?
Yeah, I mean, look, as long as he isn't a turnstile like Dennis Daly was, then fine. As long as – and that's where I think Skoronski can be important too, because if Skoronski turns out to be an all-pro left guard, then that's going to take pressure off of whoever's playing left tackle. I mean, bottom line. I mean, you look at the offensive line as of old with the Titans. You had an all-pro left tackle in Brad Hopkins and then a Hall of Famer in Bruce Matthews that played every position on the line but was there at the left guard. That left side was a fortress. And McNair, it gave McNair time to make whatever play he needed to make. So that's what you're asking for. But Dillard has to be good. Dillard has to do his part. And he is the one, Junie and I talked about it yesterday. He's my biggest concern is can he, just because of the position, not because of the guy, but because of the position, can he hold his own at left tackle? Now, there's a lot of they're all new guys playing on this offensive line, except for Aaron Brewer, who's moved over to center. He's the only returning guy. Petit Frere is going to be out for 6 games. So I agree with Joe and pretty much everybody that they should get at least a half. Daniel Brunskill, who's going to line up at right guard, talked yesterday with the media about the importance of getting those in-game reps.
How important are actual game reps in that process?
Game reps are huge because, I mean, going against our defense every day, it's awesome, but it also, you kind of get used to the same things. They know our tendencies, and then they know our calls, so that they're a step ahead, and then it's kind of a game within a game. So it's nice to get out against a different team because they're going to present different problems. They're going to run their games a little differently when they run their pass rush. They're going to run their twists differently. They're going to give different things away. And so you're going to have to be able to understand that and see how those guys operate. So game reps are always huge because it's a different type of player.
That was Daniel Brunskill yesterday talking about getting those game reps with the offensive line. And I think that is the most important thing that's going to come out of to me, it's O-line and kicker are the 2 most important things that we need to see tomorrow. And I put backup quarterback in there too. I would put Willis and Levis in there too with that. Those are the top 3.
Does cornerback anywhere on that list or no?
Yeah. I just don't know who's going to play.
Exactly, yeah.
Like McCreary – they're so thin at that position that I don't know how much I want to see. I mean, look, if McCreary and Fulton and if they went out there for a series or 2, that wouldn't be the end of the world, but I don't think they will. I mean, it's just like Tannehill. I think there's a benefit, but it probably won't happen. Me thinking that it's a good idea doesn't mean they think it's a good idea. So, yeah, but I mean, corner's a question. Linebacker, I mean, Jack Gibbons. I like Jack Gibbons, but do I like Jack Gibbons as a everyday starter? I don't know the answer to that yet.
Yeah,
same with Monty Rice.
Yeah, I'd say I'd be more of I don't know. I would say Jack Gibbons would be more of those rotational linebackers, but as a guy like Chance Campbell or maybe even a Jack Gibbons, more of a special teams linebacker, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do there. I mean, coming up in a few minutes, we'll do, the 5 players that I'm going to be watching closely tomorrow during the first preseason game. And I know it's pretty obvious with a lot of these, but the offensive line definitely falls in that category. How they gel and then how they work Petit Frere in there. I don't think Petit Frere needs a whole lot of time. He's been practicing with him some, but you want to get him some game reps too before he's out for 6 weeks. I could see them using him more later in the preseason. Maybe he gets I don't think he ever gets a start in these preseason games, but certainly could be interesting there of how they play and how they interact with the quarterback, whether it's Tannehill, Malik Willis, Will Levis, whoever it might be tomorrow. So the offensive line on everybody's mind. But as we said earlier in the week, I like that they're going up against a Bears defensive front that's not very good. They've gone up against their own defensive front that is very good, and now let's see how they work against the Bears defensive front. That's going to be, I think, a good place to start where you're not throwing them into the fire necessarily. And then they'll practice against Minnesota, practice against New England, and kind of see how that works out.
Yeah, I think they're going to get a lot more work from Minnesota in the following week after the Bears for sure.
By the way, you've been called out on the text line. Dude says it's not that complicated to play offensive line. Did he watch Dennis Daly?
Well, Dennis Daly's a different breed of an offensive lineman. He's more of one of those what are the Spanish Olays in the running of the Bulls? Yeah.
Olay! Yeah. No, Dennis Daly was, hey, you want to meet my quarterback? Come on, let me show you. I'll take you right to him. Come on, just follow me. Just give him a hug.
Yeah.
That's what I used to say about him.
First christening on the text line there, so thanks.
Hey, yeah, that was good.
That's honorable mention there.
Nick Frazier, a.k.a. Soccer Nick, according to Jared. So that's good. Welcome.
I feel honored.
You should.
Thank
you,
The
text
Jared.
line is a great place because people will say things on that they wouldn't say on the phone or to your face. So
keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors indeed. Coming up next, the 5 players I'm watching closely in preseason game 1 tomorrow. That is next. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
New home. New energy. Same Blue Raiders.
99 yards! Touchdown, Middle Tennessee!
Catch every game for MTSU on 93.3 Classic Hits. Coach Rick Stockstill is poised to lead his team to yet another bowl appearance.
We're really excited about this opportunity.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. The official brand perception report for doors and windows is in. Pella Windows and Doors are the leading brand among all others. A few reasons why. Pella is regarded as the highest quality, the most innovative, and the installers with Pella of Nashville lead the way for attention to detail. That's why Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville is one of Pella's top locations in the country. For new doors or windows, I suggest you choose the experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaNashville.com. Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willie Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
This is Evan Bass for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. For most of us, sex is a big part of our relationship. So when something like erectile dysfunction starts affecting intimacy, it can be a real problem. But what you may not know is that ED doesn't just affect you, it can be tough on your partner as well. Plus, if you have ED, you know how it can make you feel. The truth is, we see a lot of guys who have depression, frustration, and even relationship issues because of ED. But we don't want ED to impact you or the one you love anymore. The Tennessee Men's Clinic tackles ED. Our urologists and medical providers take a comprehensive approach and have treated thousands of men with treatments that are successful in nearly 90% of cases. Even if your hormones are off, or if pills, wave therapy, or other treatments have left you hanging, the Tennessee Men's Clinic will work hard to help you get your sex life back, perhaps performing like you haven't in a long time. So call us. Your first appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. We have 2 offices in Midtown and Franklin.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing, towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types of towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
It's the latest social networking thingy. We are all over social media. Follow us on Twitter at 1025thegame. You can follow me at ChaseOnGame. Also on Instagram at 1025thegame Nashville and at the Chase McCabe. See, aren't we cool?
Chase McCabe on 1025 and 1063 The Game.
Hey, tune in for Nashville Sounds Baseball tonight. 5:50 pregame, 6:05 first pitch on 94.9 The Fan. The Sounds take on the Indianapolis Indians, AAA affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sounds Baseball on 94.9 The Fan is presented by 312 Pizza Company, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Family Leisure. Appreciate them. Also, hey, check out the Predators Craft Beer Fest tonight. The fun begins at 6:30 and goes to 10 at Bridgestone Arena. Proceeds benefit the Preds Foundation, which supports Middle Tennessee nonprofit groups and programs in the community. So looking forward to that. I'm going to go check that out tonight, as I do like some beer. So that will be cool at Bridgestone Arena. Titans tomorrow. All right, the 5 players that I want to that I'm going to be paying attention to. I already know they're going to play, but that I'm going to be paying attention to tomorrow. This is no particular order necessarily. But it is Andre Dillard. He is one of them. I want to see how Andre Dillard holds up at left tackle. That is immensely important, and they have to figure that out sooner rather than later, because they do still have time that if they decide that's not the spot for him, that they could put Skoronski on the outside and see how that works, give it time to gel, or they see enough out of him tomorrow and with the joint practices against Minnesota, and they say, all right, this is going to work. Let's leave it alone, and this is the offensive line that we're going to go with come New Orleans. But I think Andre Dillard is going to be very, very important. The next one is a quarterback, and I think a lot of you are probably going to say Will Levis. I am, on the other hand, going to say Malik Willis. And the reason I'm going to say Malik Willis is because I need to know if this is all for real or not. Like, is he really better, or has he just practiced well? And we're going to see him make a lot of the same mistakes that he made last year in a game. Or has he taken the coaching, has the offseason program that he's gone through actually worked for him, and he's shown big strides between year 1 and year 2, and that he can actually be a capable quarterback in this league, whether it's a backup or what have you. I want to see what Malik Willis can do, because I know Will Levis is going to be here. I know they drafted Will Levis in the second round and traded up to get him, and I know that he's going to factor into the future plans of the Tennessee Titans. But is Malik Willis? Are we going to see a quarterback battle between these two next year for the starting role, or is that already predetermined? I need to see Malik Willis show out tomorrow and show that he has made vast improvements at that position.
If Malik Willis doesn't show out tomorrow or at all this preseason, I'm going to say it right now, I've given up on the Malik Willis project.
So, yeah, even after one preseason game?
I will give up on this project.
Okay. Interesting. I don't think you're the only one by saying that. The next one for me is Reggie Roberson. I want to see if he can take – again, it's kind of similar with Malik Willis. I want to see if he can take some of the good things that he's done in practice and apply it in a game, because Chris Sanders and I talked about it earlier, that right now he's on the bubble and is actually making a really good case to make this team. I don't think Racey McMath has played all that well in practice. I don't think NWI has been all that great in practice. I think Roberson's been better than both of them. Now, NWI has the advantage because he has experience, and experience is going to be important at that receiver position this year. So that's why I think he's ultimately going to end up making the team. So that last spot could be open between McMath and Roberson. Maybe Colton Dowell factors into this as well. You know, you can kind of take a couple of different roads when it comes to receiver. But for me, it's Roberson because I've really enjoyed watching him in practice. Can he do something that really turns some heads and make people wonder, okay, can he actually make this team and be an NFL player? Special teams is going to be important. Can he contribute there? That's something that they may look at. But for me, it's Reggie Roberson is another one that I have to pay attention to. I'll save the best for last. Tajay Spears is another one. I want to see what Tajay Spears is because, quite frankly, I haven't seen a whole lot out of him to this point in training camp. You know, I think that Tajay has talent. I think that they want him to match up with Henry and do some two-back sets. He can be a change of pace back. You know, they want to see him run the football. They want to see him catch the football. I want to see a lot of those different situations with him, but he hasn't really blown me away. You know, I've enjoyed watching Ward. I need to see more out of this third-round pick, and I think that the first preseason game is a way that you can showcase him a little bit more and maybe show what he can do. So that would be 1 through 4. And then obviously the last one, and again, no particular order with this. I just put kicker. I mean, it is both. It's not just one. Caleb Shudak, in my mind, is the leader in the clubhouse. I think that's who they want to win the battle because he's been around. But Trey Wolf has done his thing too. So somebody needs to emerge and take the reins at kicker. Teron Davenport, Titans NFL Nation reporter, was on Robbie and Rexer this morning and talked about the kicker battle.
Yeah, I think it's a battle of two guys they have available to them. I don't think it's a great battle, and I don't think that this is really the long-term future being presented in front of them. No, I think it's for what they can have right now. I do believe they like Shudak, and I think if Shudak would have not got injured last year, I think he would have been the kicker.
I think I agree with Teron on that he would have been the guy. They ended up keeping Randy Bullock. But if this is an absolute disaster at kicker this week, then my guess is you're going to see some veterans that are still out there, whether it's Randy Bullock, Mason Crosby, coming. I think Crosby's still out there, coming in and working out at kicker. That is something that I think could happen. So those are the 5 that I'm looking at tomorrow in the first preseason game.
Okay. Do I have a 5? I have probably 3 if you want to hear 3 of them.
Hit me real quick.
Okay, the first one is Tajay Spears. I think he's going to have a phenomenal first game. Second one's going to be Will Levis. I want to see what the kid's got. I don't want to, see if we have like a project or not a project. And the third one I want to see is Christian Fulton, if he does play or not. And if he does play, I would like to see him do some progress on the field.
Yeah, I don't know if he does, but that's a good one. So we'll see tomorrow. Big one tonight at Geodis Park, Nashville SC and Minnesota quarterfinals of the League Cup. I have been given a note for a best bet from Music City Bets, Sam Surridge to score tonight.
Yeah, and you know what? Might as well take him for get 2.
You say 2?
I'm going to say 2 tonight, just due to the fact that Minnesota is not the strongest team defensively, and last time Nashville played them, they
what about Hani, though?
Hani to get an assist might be a good one. For people that are out there that are betting this game.
It's the 2 goals for Sam Surridge.
Yeah, Sam Surridge with 2 goals and Hani get an assist would be cool. I honestly, Anibal Godoy to do something tonight, and Daniel Lovitz is always one of those guys to kind of get an assist from here or there. This Nashville SC side has been phenomenal on set pieces, especially corner kicks. This team they have the height to do it. So they're going to go in there. If it's Walker Zimmerman, Lucas McNaughton, now Sam Surridge, any of those tall perennial threats in the air, they're going to put it in the back of the net. So I would highly recommend looking at this game tonight. It's, I believe, 7:30's kickoff, give or take 10 minutes, at Geodis Park, taking on Minnesota United FC. It's a game you don't want to miss.
So, hypothetically, Miami's playing Charlotte tonight as well. Could you imagine if Nashville gets to the finals and Miami gets to the finals and Lionel Messi coming in this place?
I love where you're going with this, Chase. I've been asked this hypothetical question probably, I don't know, a handful of times in the last span of 48 hours. And yes, so once you get to the knockout rounds of the Leagues Cup, it goes off of league standings from last year. So Nashville SC finished higher in the standings than Inter Miami. So if Inter Miami takes control of Charlotte tonight and ends up winning their semifinal game and go to the finals, then yes, we would host Inter Miami here in Nashville. How crazy would that be? Messi in Music City.
Yeah, it would be awesome. So that will be fun to watch tonight for sure. That is going to do it for us. I do want to say this, and some people are probably going to question me bringing this up, but this is has become a big media market. And, our competition, 104.5, is celebrating their 20th anniversary today. We're about to hit another anniversary here at the end of the month. A lot of good people over there that I've worked with over the years, so congratulations to them. And they had plaster on, which I thought was really classy. So congrats to them, and we keep on fighting, but, there are a lot of words to go around for sure. That'll do it for us. Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace coming up next here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Electronic